We live in this world of incredibly simple tech, right? You can send money, get information, all with just one tap. But here's the crazy thing, the paradox we're going to unpack today. The simpler that tech feels on the outside, the more mind-blowingly complex and even risky it often is on the inside. And this quote just nails it. We've got this new last big thing on our hands, powerful stuff like blockchain. But for it to actually change the world, it has to be usable. And, it has to be safe for regular people. Getting from powerful to practical, well, that's where the real fight is. All right, section 1, the simple facade. And the subtitle is Why Modern Apps Feel Effortless. So let's start with what we all see every day. I mean, the apps we use are just beautiful. They're so simple. Sending crypto? It can feel just like sending a text. And that's because designers have worked like crazy to hide all the gnarly technical stuff behind these super clean screens. You get to see the pretty result, not the messy code making it all happen. Okay, so section 2 is the user's high stakes, revealing a world of personal risk. And this is the flip side of that simple facade. Behind that beautiful, easy-to-use screen, the stakes are getting, well, incredibly high. Especially with things like crypto, a ton of responsibility is being pushed directly onto you, the user. And that's where things get a little scary, because all those safety nets we've always relied on, they're starting to vanish. I mean, think about this for a second. Mistakes can be totally irreversible. With your bank, right, if you mess up, you can usually call someone and get it sorted out. But in the world of blockchain, if you send a transaction to the wrong address, poof, it's gone forever. There's no 1-800 number to call, no undo button. It's just gone. And then there's this. There is absolutely no forgot password safety net. We've all been there, right? That little button has saved us so many times. But in this new world of self-custody where you hold your own keys, it just doesn't exist. If you lose that seed phrase, your access to everything is just gone. It's not like forgetting a password, it's like burying a chest of gold and then losing the map, the key, and your memory of where you buried it. So here's the really wild part. Most people who lose their crypto aren't getting hacked by some super genius-breaking complex code. Nope, it's down to simple human mistakes. Things like mismanaging your seed phrase, accidentally sending funds to the wrong network, or falling for a phishing email that looks totally legit. It could be using a wallet on a device that has a virus, or even just granting unlimited access to a shady app. Each one is a tiny slip-up that can have absolutely devastating results. All right, section 3, the tech's growing pains. And the subtitle here is Why Scaling Technology Like Bitcoin is So Hard. So you gotta be asking, why is it all so risky for the user? Well, to get that, we need to peel back another layer of this onion and look at the huge technical hurdles these systems are trying to clear. The tech itself is still, well, it's still growing up, and that's what creates this whole messy environment. Let's take Bitcoin as a perfect example. The main blockchain, what we call layer 1, is an absolute fortress, super secure. But it's also incredibly slow. We're talking like 7 to 10 transactions a second. For the whole world. That leads to crazy high fees and long waits. So to fix this, brilliant developers created layered 2s, like the Lightning Network. It's a whole new layer built on top of Bitcoin that makes payments super fast and super cheap. So how does it work? Well, the core idea behind the Lightning Network is something called a payment channel. The easiest way to think about it is like opening a tab at a bar. You and the bartender agree to open a tab. That's the one transaction that hits the main blockchain. After that, you can order a bunch of drinks all night, and those are all off-chain. They're not hitting the main network. Then, at the end of the night, you close the tab, and only the final total gets settled back on the main blockchain. So breaking it down, it looks like this. Step 1, you and someone else open the channel by locking some funds into a shared account on the blockchain. Step 2, you can transact back and forth instantly and for basically nothing. And step 3, when you're all done, you close the channel, and just that final balance gets written in stone on the main chain. It's a really clever solution, for sure. But it also adds its own new layers of complexity that someone has to manage. Okay, moving on to section 4, the web's hidden backdoors. Subtitle, It's Not Just a Crypto Problem. Now, it's really easy to point at crypto and say, wow, that's complicated and risky. But the truth is, these kinds of hidden weak spots, they're everywhere. They're woven into the fabric of the entire modern web, connecting all the services you use every single day. They're just hidden a lot better. So let's talk about something called a webhook. You've probably never heard of it, but you use them constantly. They're kind of like the secret glue that holds the internet together. You know when you buy something online and you instantly get a confirmation email? That's probably a webhook talking from the payment company to the store's system. But as this quote says, they're also a trusted by default entry point, which attackers absolutely love to play with. And this is how it can get really bad. Imagine an attacker grabs a valid webhook for a refund and just sends it again and again. That's a replay attack. Or what if they just create a fake message that says payment underscore succeeded when no payment was ever made? Or they stuff malicious code inside what looks like normal data. They can even just flood the system with requests to crash it. This isn't science fiction, okay? These are real, everyday vulnerabilities in the internet's plumbing that security pros are fighting 24/7. Okay, let's get to Section 5, Taming the Complexity. Subtitle, De-forces Bringing Order to the Digital Wild West. So yeah, the whole landscape is complex, it's risky, both for us as users and for the companies trying to build on this stuff. But here's the good news. There are some really powerful forces starting to bring some order to this chaos. Let's dive into what those are. So on the tech side, you have companies that are basically building a whole new layer on top of the complexity to make it simple and safe. They handle all the really, really hard stuff, like making sure there's enough money in the right places for transactions to work, or using AI to find the fastest, cheapest payment path. This lets businesses focus on what they're good at, making a great product, instead of having to become experts in network plumbing. It's a huge step toward making this tech actually work for everyone. And then, of course, there's regulation. Governments are finally stepping in with rulebooks, like the big MiCA framework in Europe. But, and this is the ironic part, look at this table. The rollout is a total patchwork. Different countries, different deadlines. So if you're a company in France, you get 18 months to get ready. But if you want to serve customers in the Netherlands, you only get 6 months. It's so easy to fall into a compliance black hole. So yeah, even the solutions themselves are creating new kinds of complexity. And that brings us to our final section, the final frontier. Subtitle, Designing a Future that is both powerful and safe. Because this is really what it all boils down to. We have this amazing, powerful technology. We have companies and regulators trying to manage it, but the final, biggest challenge is making it all work for us, for human beings, in a way that's safe and just makes sense. This quote from Steve Jobs just says it all. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. This is so crucial right now. The biggest breakthroughs aren't going to be some new fancy tech protocol. No, the real innovation is in the design that makes that tech understandable, that makes it trustworthy, that makes it actually usable for you and I. It's all about how it works for people. And that design work really comes down to a few basic but critical principles. First, just use plain English, not a bunch of confusing jargon. Second, you have to design for absolute trust. That means big, clear warnings and confirmations before you do anything major. You also have to hide all the technical junk under the hood, but show the user the simple result. And maybe most importantly, you have to make sure someone's first time using this stuff makes them feel confident, not terrified. That's how you get millions of people on board. So that leaves us with one big, final question to think about. As our digital world gets more and more powerful, who's really responsible for protecting us? Is it the people who build this tech? Is it the regulators making the rules? Or, in the end, is it on us, on you and me, to get smart and stay safe? I think the real answer is, well, it's probably a mix of all three. And figuring out that balance, that's the great challenge we're all facing right now.